All right, let's hear what the liberal god is saying.
My name is Jon Stewart, and we are
I gotta pee.
back, baby. By the way, I want to start off very quickly and mention a very quick congratulations to England and France, who held their elections to great success. We would talk about them tonight, but we're in America. So, last week we did a live show after the debate. Where did we leave off? This cannot be real life. It just can't. We're America. God. Ah, yes, anger and despair. By the way, for those of you at home, the scripts are printed on Kevlar, which is why I had trouble. It's in no way weak fingers. Now, since the debate, it's been quite interesting, actually. Many Democrats have expressed concern that the president has a hard time expressing thoughts. And then there is this other camp who thinks that those people should shut the up.
Stop this whining, stop the complaining, stop trying to be the cool, cynical kids.
I would not want to be in a foxhole with any of the people who, were clutching their pearls all of a sudden.
Pearl clutching and hand wringing.
We're bedwetting and soaking all the way through the mattress.
We panic and piss our pants.
First of all, I'm not sure incontinence is the metaphor you want to go with. And second of all, when are we going to free Senator Fetterman from the Turkish prison he's being held in? I don't know, piss his pants. But to those of you who say these concerns are simple pearl wetting and bed clutching, we all make mistakes, I thought I would take a moment to explain where the concern about Biden's performance might be coming from and why these concerns may be seen as a more foundational issue. You see, even before the debate, there had been some troubling moments of disconnect from the president. Perhaps this chart could, if I may, sorry, the pen caps are made of Kevlar. Very difficult to. Perhaps this chart will illustrate and illuminate the point more clearly. For instance, in 2022, when we saw Biden give a shout out to Representative Jackie.
Representative Jackie, are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here.
Unfortunately, Jackie was dead. It's something that the president seemed to have known 6 weeks earlier when he released a condolence statement about her death. So, Then there was the recounting of a recent conversation that the president had had with his counterpart, the president of France.
And Mitterrand from France looked at me and said, how long are you back for?
Unfortunately, Mitterrand is also dead. For longer even than that first lady, so... And even on teleprompter, things continue to... like the reading of the instructions people sometimes add to teleprompter scripts.
The percentage of women who register to vote
Oh,
and
this one was
cast a
bad.
ballot is consistently higher than the percentage of the men who do so. End of quote. Repeat the line. At the Catholic school I went to was a guy named Riley, last name. 4 more years. Pause. 4 more years.
End of quote. Repeat the last phrase. Bro, okay, I'm going to defend Biden here. When he said 4 more years, pause, he meant like no more gay shit. Okay? He was actually being based and homophobic. That's right. Like, that's what he was saying. He was like, pause. 4 more years of Trump? That shit's gay. Pause. Can't be doing that.
Then, of course, to be fair, State of the Union. Concern dropped a little bit at the State of the Union. He kind of nailed it. But then the debate happened, and we kind of, what the f? What? Now, to my mind, the debate was a shocking display of cognitive difficulty, recognizable to, unfortunately, anybody who's dealt with aging parents, and it's a hard watch. But there were many viewers who felt it was not as noteworthy as Biden's opponent in the debate.
It's pretty amazing that, 90% of the conversation is around Joe Biden's style. When up on that stage, Donald Trump was engaged in a level of pathological lying that we've never seen.
Shouldn't the discussions also be about Trump's fitness to serve?
Every time he opened his mouth, he said something insane or that was a lie. Why aren't there calls for Trump to drop out?
That's my favorite line, dude. I love the why won't Trump drop out? Like, saying that to people who are understandably saying, I'm looking at the polls. I don't want Donald Trump to be president, and I don't think Joe is the guy to do it. Telling them, why won't you demand Donald Trump drop out is so fucking stupid. Yeah, that's great, man. Yeah, Donald Trump should drop out. Except, why? Do you want a stronger candidate to defeat the Democrats? Are you fucking stupid? Donald Trump is a bad candidate. Donald Trump is not a good candidate. Why do you want Donald Trump to drop out? What the fuck are you saying? This doesn't make sense. You are not thinking. You are emotionally reacting to the situation. Like, what do you mean? Oh, man. I really, really think Donald Trump should drop out and make way for a stronger Republican candidate who can moderate better and win over the fucking moderates that are like, that the Biden administration has like desperately tried to bring back to their fucking side. What are we doing? It's so stupid. If I'm currently not watching the NATO speech, perhaps the reason for why I'm not watching it, perhaps you should know that I'm not going to be watching the NATO speech. It's happening right now, and I'm not watching it. So you don't have to come in here and be like, are you not watching the NATO speech? Yeah, I'm not. Because if there are massive flubs on the fucking NATO speech, then we'll see it on our Twitter timeline instantly. I do not want to sit through Joseph Robinette Brandon reading a motherfucking teleprompter for 15 minutes with the hopes that like he will inevitably flub some of his fucking words. Like, I don't care. It's boring as shit.
Where are they?
Yeah. Why doesn't anyone ever speak out about Donald Trump? Or let's say every night for 10 fucking years. But you know what? Fair point. I take your point. Not me, because I wasn't here, but other people. Fair point, and let's take a look at Trump's chart. It's been bad since he started with grabbing by the pussy. I mean, what are you going to do? The whole thing's been bad. The whole thing. The difference is this. I will tell you the difference. I will tell you the difference. The difference is Trump delivered at the debate to expectation. We expect him to be crazy. But Biden's performance and inability to articulate at times was stunning. Like, I could not believe what I was watching. Just thinking about it again just makes me want to rip up my... Why do we make this out of such strong material? But then it got worse. Rather than respecting the American people and having an honest, at least partial conversation about what we had all seen, we were told immediately, these are not the droids you're looking for.
He has a stutter.
He hasn't debated in 4 years.
He was almost over-prepared.
He had an off night. People have an off night.
You know, the president traveled 6 time zones forward to G7, and he was also continued to do his presidential duties. And also he had...
Bro, he's just a little guy. He's just a little guy. Let him be a little guy. Come on. He's neurodivergent. You're being ableist. You're being ageist, ableist. And you hate when people prepare too much. And also, he had traveled.
Cold. He was jet lagged.
He'd been home for almost 2 weeks. He was jet lagged? How big is that fucking jet? The point is, for a campaign based on honesty and decency, the spin about the debate appears to be blatant bullshit. And the redemption tour hasn't gone that much better. Whether it's been on the radio.
Well, I'm proud to be, as I said, the first vice president, first black woman, served with a black president.
Yes, Queen. Or whether...
Talk about the situation. Talk about the big situation. What?
Or whether the president is on prompter and fired up.
Well, let me say this clearly as I can. I'm staying in the race. I'll beat Donald Trump. I will beat him again in 2020.
I got to tell you. Somehow, confusion with confidence is even more unsettling. Or when the president sat down with George Stephanopoulos to prove once and for all how cogent he is and to film a bronzer ad. Orange man good? None of this was reassuring. And
Jon Stewart's like, when you want to hear the jokes that I've made 1,000,000 times over, but like, you know, a week later.
The facecam is blocking the video because of copyright issues. If Joe Biden and Donald Trump have one thing in common, it is that they don't trust the polls. During the Republican primary, Mr. Trump referred to polls that showed his opponent Nikki Haley too close for comfort as just another scam. Now, Biden has cast doubt on polls that show him trailing. Trump in swing states are plagued by historically low approval ratings. I don't believe that's my approval rating. He shot back at George in a primetime interview on ABC meant to assuage Democrats' anxieties after his terrible debate performance against Trump. That's not what our polls show, he added, referencing his campaign's internal polling. Biden did not elaborate on what exactly those more sympathetic polls show. But the public ones suggest that on average, the president's polling deficit has increased by 1.7 points since the debate. That sounds modest, but Trump's lead now equals the largest he has had in any of his 3 presidential campaigns.
We're told that the threat of Trump is so great and the stakes are so high that even bringing up these absolutely legitimate concerns about the president's ability to do the most vigorous job in the world for the next 4 years is enabling fascism. Yet even the president doesn't seem particularly alarmed.
If you stay in and Trump is elected and everything you're warning about comes to pass, how will you feel in January?
I feel as long as I gave it my all and I did the goodest job as I know I can do, that's what this is about.
That's not what this is about! There are no participation trophies in endgame democracy. Oh, yes. I remember FDR saying, well, if the Nazis take over Europe, at least both teams had fun. And it's really troubling as this new information has been introduced. We just learned about this, and now we're all being told, well, you should have thought of that before you knew it.
We can't go against the will of the voters. Democrats who voted in all 50 states in the primary, that is who they want to be their nominee.
He's the nominee because millions and millions of people voted for him to be our nominee, and he will be our.
That's the word, dude. That is just simply insulting the intelligence of like every person that watches this fucking network. Okay, you're basically telling the MSNBC watchers that they're fucking dumb idiots. Like, there was no real primary, man. Why are they repeating that line? It's so stupid. And to be honest, some of the MSNBC watchers, no disrespect to your parents, but they are dumb idiots. Okay.
Nominee. End of story.
There was no real primary. Biden ran against Dean Phillips. That's not even a real person. That's a stock photo on the package for a garden hose. It's not a person. It's AI. And let me say.
Per CNN, U.S. Senators John Tester, Michael Bennet, and Sherrod Brown said Joe Biden can't win during the Senate lunch today.
Say this. Authoritarianism and Donald Trump aren't the only threats our democracy faces. An arthritic status quo, unable or unwilling to respond in any way to the concerns of voters who just received new and urgent information about their candidate, also erodes confidence and faith in the system of government. Get on board or shut the up is
Has Bernie made a statement yet? No, Bernie literally said Biden's my guy. I'm going with Joe.
Honestly, though, get on board or shut the up is not a particularly compelling pro-democracy bumper sticker. Nor is, what are you going to do?
I've gotten a lot of texts today from folks who watched a lot of West Wing episodes and imagine a very complex path through which we might have a robust primary process. But, Wolf, you know the reality. There's 4 months left to the presidential election.
4 months is forever. Britain just held an election in 2 months. France had 2 in 1 month, defeated fascism, and still had time to have an affair with Denmark. Are you telling me, you sons of bitches, are you coming to my house and saying to my face that the United States of Bruce Springsteen's America can't hold an election better than a French?
Okay, that's an old bit that I do all the fucking time as well.
Is that what you're telling me? It's 4 months. 4 months. It's 119 days. There are contestants on The Bachelor who haven't even met yet that will get married and divorced between now and the election. We have nothing but time. And by the way, I am in no way saying Biden's got to drop out, but can't we stress test this candidacy? Can't we open up the conversation? Do you understand the opportunity here? Do you have any idea how thirsty Americans are for any hint of inspiration or leadership and a release from this choice of a megalomaniac and a suffocating gerontocracy? It is crushing our spirit. Do you have any idea what could be ahead of you? All we want is for someone to keep it 100. The percentage, not the age. That's all we want. Here's an idea. I'll spitball it. It's last minute. But why don't we try and get all the Democrats together in, I don't know, 6 weeks' time? We could get everybody to fly into some Midwestern town, maybe like one adjacent to important swing states. Let's call it Chicago. And they could spend, I don't know, 4 days there because nobody works Fridays anymore. And on Monday, anybody who wants to gives their sales pitch of how they can make democracy more responsive to the people it is supposed to serve. You could bang it out. On Tuesday, the winners could move on to the next round and then face Biden. They could face Biden. Biden had a bye. Wednesday would be an off day, bus tour to find the restaurant from the Bear. Thursday, the party emerges, energized, unified, sanctified. You could televise the entire proceeding for 4 days. You could call it, I don't know, The Apprentice. I'm just workshopping here.
Yeah, I mean, he's like memeing here, but like, I think the best path forward would be to wrap this up behind closed doors. That I have said consistently. I think that like anything that shows further chaos and division within the Democratic Party right now is not going to be good. It will actually harm whoever the Democratic candidate is and their chances in November. I think that the ideal set of circumstances would be that they just quietly put this to bed, quietly put the old man to bed, have him step aside, preserve his legacy, have it most likely would be Kamala in the situation, which, you know, is not the best, but still better than Biden, albeit marginally, which is still not great. Sorry if you're not covered this, but do you think you can explain why you're not supporting Jill Stein? I don't like women. It seems like if there was ever a time voting green was a viable option, now would be the time. Yes. I'm voting illegally for both Jill Stein, Cornel West. I don't even know if he's still running, but I'm voting for him anyway. And also PSL. Don't worry. And RFK Jr. as well. I get your point, but I'd rather they do it in public. This closed door smoky room shit is terrible. Dude, no. Like, if you want to win, you have to be united. That's it. Why do you never mention Claudia and Karina? Was your beef with them? No beef. I love Claudia and Karina. They will win if you vote for her. Yeah, they'll win. If you vote for her, they'll win, which is why you should vote for her illegally, which is why I'm voting for her illegally. I'm voting for Drank illegally as well.
So, feel free to ignore any obvious weaknesses in your team's existential fight for freedom and democracy, and then just white-knuckle this thing till November. Or take the advice of your own candidate.
Do you think there is any Democrat who could defeat Donald Trump other than you?
Probably 50 of them.
50? I gotta say, I like the cut.
Do you think if PSL, Green, and other left-wing small parties push a single candidate like in France, they would have a chance of winning? No. Are you insane? Collectively, they would get 10,000 votes across every state, not just in one state. What are you guys talking about, man? Like, we don't have a parliamentary structure regardless. We don't have a multi-party system. We have a duopoly. Okay, two. And it's not even like two genuinely different parties from one another. In many issues, they are united. It's bad and worse. And in a lot of issues, fucking issues, they are completely united anyway. A comparison to keep your mind open. Dude, keeping my mind open doesn't mean I have to have a gaping fucking wound where my fucking frontal cortex would be. What are you talking about? Keep your mind open. Oh my God. All the fucking idiots are back in the chat today. Jesus Christ. This is one of the worst aspects of fucking covering the election and having a lot more people be interested in it. What is happening? Disagree with me equals idiot. This isn't like deciding the poll with smoke signals. Time to go public. Disagree with me, idiot. Yes, brother. If you literally think that like the Green Party and fucking the PSL and the Green Party are gonna unite, like please go back and look at how many votes they've won. Some highly misplaced optimism seeping into the discourse. It's not even optimism. It's like delusion. What are we doing? Does this work in the States and Canada? You vote for nobody. Like you say you don't like any of them. A lot of people think it means nothing. But if you get enough people to say fuck them to both, wouldn't that make the parties realize they have to change some shit? Guys, there is a long history in the United States of America, at least in contemporary American history, of there being only two viable fucking parties, okay? Two viable parties, same positions when it comes to foreign policy for the most part. Now, having said that, The notion that you are going to launch like a people's candidacy out of nowhere for a third party, even one that is like actually on the ballot. Okay, this is before we even talk about like the difficulties in getting on the ballot to begin with. Okay, like just go and tabulate how many votes you would be able to accumulate in this situation. Like PSL is great. I love PSL. They're great at activism. Okay, they're great at being at the forefront of a lot of issues. Okay, they're great. But when it comes down to like electoral politics, if you think that like you're going to be able to vote in socialism in a bourgeois liberal democracy, I don't know what to tell you. Like, especially in a country like America, where there is no like robust network of active socialist parties. This is the literal imperial core. We are at the heart of capitalism. This is the country that won the Cold War. This is the country that executed socialist activists. The Greens have never won a seat in American political history. Libs are going insane. Yeah, I saw this. Aaron Rupar, very mad. Stewart ignores that one, there was a whole ass Democratic primary election. He didn't. He joked about it in the video. 2, Kamala Harris is the vice president, only Biden alternative that makes sense. 3, a Thunderdome convention would do anything but unify the party. I'm glad he had a chance to vent, though. Aaron Rupar popping off again. Oh my God, the 67-year-old Jill Stein lady in our local Palestine organization group chat is the most annoying. There are more posts about Jill Stein than Palestine. Don't make fun of them. They're trying their best, okay? They're trying their best. It's the same with the PSL chatters. They have the class. They have PSL chatters are the ones who make fun of the attitude that like, oh, if you vote for her, she'll win when it comes to Hillary Clinton, but then turn around and say the exact same thing about Jill Stein and Gloria La Riva. If you vote for her, she will win. Their heart's in the right place. That's why I usually just don't talk about it too much. A lot of PSL Andes don't understand that the reason why I don't talk about PSL that much is because I just don't want to like make fun of people who I am in agreement with otherwise. And I like PSL. Claudia De La Cruz, Gloria La Riva. Anyway, Jimmy Dore arc. Same reason we don't talk about the DSA. No, I think the DSA's like DSA's understanding of American politics is significantly better. What are you talking about? There are actual DSA backed. It's like working families party in New York. Like these are operations outside of the Democratic Party that actively work within the Democratic Party. And yes, there are issues with the DSA as well, but I have no, they actually do get candidates elected.
Across 11 polling firms that surveyed voters, both shortly before and after the debate, Biden's support dropped by less than half a point, while Mr. Trump's support by 1.3 points. There have been enough swing state polls since the debate to build a robust average, but if this shift is replicated in battleground states, where Biden mostly trails Trump by a larger margin than nationwide, that will paint an even darker picture for Democrats. Currently, Biden lags behind some Democratic senators running for re-election in states like Nevada and Wisconsin. If that trend continues, it would suggest that Biden's unpopularity and not Democrats' brand is to blame. If Democrats decided to replace Joe Biden and Kamala, they can hold a rapid-fire primary, as Jim Clyburn, a Democratic congressman from South Carolina, alluded to recently. Polling can reveal even less about how candidates without the national profile and name recognition of Ms. Harris might face. In a recent YouGov Economist poll, 26% of respondents said they had a favorable view of Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, but 45% said they had no opinion at all. Some 30% said the same of Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, and Pete, the Secretary of Transportation. If you found this video interesting, then you can subscribe to this channel and like this video for more videos like